What is going on in the Surrey, BC real estate market right now? Well, the February 2026 numbers just dropped from the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board, and I'm going to break it all down for you today in this video. Make sure to stick around to the very end of this video because I'm going to be telling you what I'm personally hearing from buyers out there and what they think of Surrey, BC and living there. Now, before we dive into the specifics of Surrey, let's pull back the layers a bit. To really understand what's driving the local market, we need to look at the bigger picture across the Fraser Valley because what happens next door sets the stage for what happens right here. In February 2026, the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board recorded 843 total sales. Now that's actually a 36% jump from January, which sounds great on the surface, but here's the reality check. It's still 38% below the 10-year seasonal average. So yes, things picked up from the cold dead of winter, but we are nowhere near normal levels of activity. So don't get it twisted. New listings came in at 2,796, which was down 9.2% from January and down 10.4% from February last year. And speaking of inventory, 8,344 active listings across the Fraser Valley. That's up 8.2% from January and a massive 51% above the 10-year seasonal average. We have 51% more homes sitting on the market than what's typical for this time of year. Now here's the number that really matters. The sales to active listings ratio is at 10%. The industry considers anything between 12% and 20% as a balanced market. Below 12%, that's a buyer's market. And at 10%, we are firmly in buyer's territory. We all have been hearing this for quite some time now. The composite benchmark price for the Fraser Valley fell to $895,100. That's a small 0.2% dip from January, but when you look year over year, we're talking about a 7.7% decline from February 2025. Let me run through the board-wide benchmark price real quick. Detached homes were down 0.2% from January, down 8.6% year over year. Townhomes, $770,700, down 0.3% from January, down 7.1% year over year. Apartments, $488,300, basically flat from January, but down 8.9% year over year. And one more thing before we zoom into Surrey, the average days on market. Detached homes were taking 47 days, condos and apartments 45 days, and townhomes were actually selling the fastest at 39 days. So townhomes are the sweet spot right now in terms of buyer demand. All right, now let's jump into Surrey specifically. The city of Surrey combined numbers include North Surrey, Central Surrey, Cloverdale, and South Surrey, but not White Rock, which I'll cover separately in this video. Starting with detached homes, 119 sales in February, which is down 4% from last February, but up a huge 48.8% from January. So the month-over-month bounce was real. The benchmark price sits at $1,461,300. That's down 9.7% year over year, and the average price is $1,473,513, which represents a 13.2% drop from February 2025. That is a significant hit. Now for townhomes, 114 sales, down 21.4% year over year. That's one of the sharpest declines for sure. But month over month, sales were up 34.1% from January. The benchmark sits at $789,800. That's down 7.6% from last year. Average price is $804,408, down 9.6%. And apartments, there was 101 sales. That's down 19.8% year over year and up 11% from January. The benchmark price is $479,100, down 8.9% from last February. And the average is $485,853, which is actually down 15.6% year over year. The average price decline for apartments is one of the steepest across the board. So the pattern is clear. If you're looking at the city of Surrey as a whole, every single property type is showing a year-over-year price declines in the 7 to 13% range. But month-over-month sales are ticking up, which suggests January's deep freeze is thawing out slightly. Let's break it down by sub-area. Surrey Central first. Detached. Only 41 sales, down 10.9% from last year. Active listings at 613, which is up slightly. The benchmark price is $1,372,700, and this is where it gets painful. That's a 10.2% drop year over year. The median price fell even harder to $1,300,500, a 15.9% decline from February 2025. However, month over month, the median actually bumped up to 5.3% from January. So there's some stabilization happening here. Townhomes, 41 sales. That's down 24.1% year over year. Active listings at 393. The benchmark price is $776,000. That's down 7.8% from last year. What's interesting is the benchmark barely moved from January, essentially flat. So the free fall may be slowing down here. Apartments, this is the rough one. Only 16 sales in all of Central Surrey, which is a 36% drop from last February. And it was even worse month over month, down 23.8% from January. The benchmark price is $494,100, down 7.3% year over year. The median price dropped to $483,000. That's down 13% from last year. It's tough if you're a condo seller in this area. Let's be real. But here's what I want you to see on the Home Price Index. Look at those 10-year numbers. Central Surrey detached is up 89% over 10 years. Townhomes up 123%. Apartments up a staggering 167%. So yes, we're in a downturn. But if you bought in Central Surrey a decade ago, you've done incredibly well. Cloverdale is next. And there's actually some interesting counter trends here. Detached, 25 sales, down 10.7% year over year. And this is the standout number. Sales more than doubled from January, up 108.3% month over month. That's the biggest monthly bounce in any Surrey sub-area. Active listings at 180, up 20% from last year. So there's plenty of choice. Benchmark is 1,347,000. That's down 10.5% year over year, but the median price is actually in at 1,430,000, which is up 5.2% from last February. So while the benchmark is falling, some properties are clearly still commanding strong prices. Townhomes, this is the bright spot. 28 sales, up 16.7% from last February. That makes Cloverdale Townhomes one of the only categories across all of Surrey showing year-over-year sales growth. Benchmark is 779,500. That's down 6.9% from last year. Sales were also up 75% from January. Apartments, steady at 10 sales, unchanged from both last February and January. The benchmark is at 546,600. That's down 6.6%, but the median jumped to 486,500. That's up 13.3% from January. Looking at the HPI, Cloverdale townhomes are actually showing a slight month-over-month gains at 0.2%. Apartments at 0.7%. So Cloverdale might be one of the first areas to find a bottom. Now let's get into North Surrey. This is a really interesting area right now because it's telling two different stories depending on what you're looking at. Detached sales, 24 sales. And here's the thing, that's up 33.3% from last February. North Surrey detached actually outperformed the trend. Sales also surged 71.4% from January. Active listings dropped to 300, down 18.7% year over year. So fewer homes on the market and more sales. The benchmark is 1,348,600. Down 10.5% from last year. The average price cratered to $1,278,083, down a whopping 18.4% from February 2025. So the lower price detached homes are the ones moving. Townhomes, 19 sales, up 26.7% year over year. Another positive surprise. Active listings are also shrinking at 97. Benchmark is 698,200. That's down 6.3%, but the median is 830,000. Which is actually up by 7.8% from last year, suggesting the more desirable townhomes are holding value. Apartments, this is the volume leader here, 59 sales, making North Surrey the apartment capital of the Fraser Valley. That's nearly flat from last year, minus 1.7%, but the benchmark price is 430,900. And here's the kicker, that's a 10.4% decline year over year. That is the steepest apartment price decline in any Fraser Valley sub-area. We also have 548 active apartment listings, which is still substantial despite being down 24.2% from last year. So North Surrey is the tale of the two markets. Detached and townhome sales are actually improving, but apartment prices are taking the biggest hit in the region. Now let's talk about the premium end, White Rock and South Surrey. Detached, 35 sales. That's down 10.3% from last year, but up 9.4% from January. Active listings are also swelled up to 521. That's up 14.8% from last February. That's a lot of high-end inventory sitting there. The benchmark is 1,722,800. That's the highest in all of Surrey, but still down 7.6% year over year. The median dropped to 1,665,000. That's down 12.4%. And the average is 1,860,636, which is down 12.1%. Only 28 sales, which is a 46.2 collapse from last February. That's the single biggest year-over-year sales decline from any property type in any Surrey sub-area. Active listings at 241. That's up 10%. The benchmark is at 863,300. That's down 8.5%. This segment has really seized up. Apartments, 40 sales, down 24.5% from last year, but actually bounced 29% from January. The benchmark is 559,500. That's down 8.9%. The average price is 721,312, reflecting that White Rock attracts the premium condo buyer. The home price index tells us White Rock is declining at a moderate pace. Short term, but the 5-year return of 11.7% for detached shows this premium market still holds its value better than other Surrey areas over the medium term. Now let's compare how Surrey compares to the broader Fraser Valley. For detached, the Fraser Valley board-wide benchmark declined 8.6% year over year. But look at the Surrey sub-areas. Central Surrey down 10.2%, Cloverdale down 10.5%, North Surrey down 10.5%, all worse than the board average. Only South Surrey White Rock at minus 7.6% is actually outperforming the board. For townhouses, the board declined 7.1%. Central Surrey is at minus 7.8%. Cloverdale, minus 6.9%. Slightly better. North Surrey, minus 6.3%. That's the best in Surrey. And South Surrey is at minus 8.5%. For apartments, the board dropped 8.9%. Central Surrey at minus 7.3% is actually better than the average. But North Surrey at minus 10.4% is the worst performer for sure. Looking at sales volumes, Surrey combined areas accounted for roughly 437 sales out of 843 total Fraser Valley sales. When you include White Rock, that's over half of all activity in the board area. Some standouts here: North Surrey detached sales up 33.3%, North Delta detached up a huge 37.5%, and Mission townhomes exploded by 200%, though that was off a tiny base of just 3 sales last year. On the negative side, Abbotsford detached sales fell 33.3%, and White Rock South Surrey townhome sales were that stunning minus 46.2%. All right, let's wrap this up. The main things you should take away from this video is, number one, it's a buyer's market, straight up. Sales to active listings ratio at 10%, inventory 51% above the 10-year average. If you're a buyer, you still have leverage right now, so negotiate hard. Number two, prices are declining, especially in Surrey. Most Surrey sub-areas are dropping faster than the Fraser Valley average. North Surrey apartments are down over 10% year over year. Central Surrey and Cloverdale detached homes are down 10 to 10.5%. Number three, sales are picking up from January. The month-over-month bounce was real, 36% across the board, and even higher in some other Surrey sub-areas. Cloverdale detached doubled from January. Spring is approaching and activity typically accelerates, but just my personal prediction here. I feel it's still going to be slow, but most likely will be slightly better than last year in terms of sales numbers. Number four, Surrey is generally outperforming the broader board. If you're choosing between investing in Surrey versus other areas of the Fraser Valley, you need to be strategic. The declines are steeper in most Surrey sub-areas, particularly for detached homes in Central Surrey, Cloverdale, and North Surrey. Number five, the long-term picture is still incredibly strong. 10-year price appreciation ranges from 42% in White Rock to 167% in Central Surrey apartments. Real estate rewards patience. If you're buying now, during this downturn, you can hold for the long term. History suggests you'll come out ahead. Now, as we reach the end of this video, I'm going to tell you what I'm personally noticing from many buyers out there right now, especially first-time home buyers with families, who I deal a lot with. Many of them aren't even looking into Surrey right now due to Surrey's ongoing issues with crime, drugs, theft, and you name it, Surrey's got it. Surrey gets a bad rep and is constantly on the news nonstop. Many buyers are looking more into other areas like Langley, Abbotsford, even Chilliwack. There's also many people still looking into moving to Alberta, if they haven't already. If you're watching this video and you thought about moving to Alberta, drop it in the comments below. And lastly, we're still giving out that free merch. You can get yourself a free t-shirt or travel mug for absolutely free. All you have to do is drop a comment at any one of my videos and write the words, "I have subscribed," in the comment section of any one of our videos. And after subscribing to the channel, of course, don't forget, if you're thinking about buying, selling, or relocating anywhere in the Fraser Valley or Metro Vancouver area, schedule a one-on-one call using the link in the description of this video below. And that's it for this month's Surrey, BC real estate market update. If you found this video valuable, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on next month's video. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.